Previously, in Season 1 of Werewolf Game. Walking home from work, Airi is suddenly tased from behind, knocking her unconscious. Waking up, she finds herself in a room with students from her high school. Forced to play the werewolf game, or more commonly known as mafia, they must find out who the werewolves are before they are all killed one by one. After multiple deaths, the game comes to a conclusion as Airi and another girl survive. Feeling relieved that the game is finished, the speaker turns on and states, "The first half is now over." The two are suddenly knocked unconscious and wake up in a room filled with other students from their schools. Inside, the group hears an announcement stating that they will be playing the werewolf game. Looking down at their roles, the two girls see that both of them have been assigned the role of the wolf. So that's how the wolves in the first game were able to be so cruel. They had already played the game once. Losing all sense of morality, round 2 begins. Okay, before we get into the video, if you haven't seen Werewolf Game Part 1, click on the top right corner so you can understand what is happening in this video. Season 1 helps to explain the rules of the game as well as showcasing everything that happened in the first game. Also, I'm sure many of you have already noticed, but I decided to change my YouTube name from Hyacinth to Hyacinth Reviews. This is to help you guys find my channel better, as if you search Hyacinth Reviews in the search bar, my channel will pop up. Thanks for the support so far, and we're almost at 1,000 subs, so don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends about this channel. Okay, let's get started on how to beat Werewolf Game Beast Side. As Airi wakes up, she scans the room and sees Inui, the person that she won the first game with. The speakers turn on stating the rules of the game. They will be following the same rules, with everyone voting on who to kill each day, while at night, the werewolves can enter the room of one participant and murder them. However, there are some slight differences. In this game, there are 3 werewolves instead of 2, and the villagers also have 3 extra roles of a fortune teller who is able to find the role of anyone each night, a bodyguard who is able to protect anyone from being murdered each night, and 2 twins who knows the roles of each other at the beginning of the game. The winners will receive $10 million. The first round begins as everyone must choose who they want to kill for the first night. Okay, looking at the situation through an analytical lens, this looks like a pretty dire situation for the wolves. Scanning the room, we see that there are 13 participants, and this means that there are 10 villagers and 3 werewolves. A regular mafia game is played with 2 wolves and 5 villagers. This means that an extra wolf is added in return for 5 more participants joining. These are horrendous odds, and I'd be pretty fucking scared if I were Airi. However, learning from the previous game, we can come to an understanding of why this is the case. Everyone in the first game was selected for a reason. They all ruined the lives of another person in the group, such as killing one of their friends or running over the other with a car. This means that people in this circle could easily vote for someone out of pure anger since the other person ruined their lives. We as the werewolves can use this to our advantage and manipulate their emotions, causing them to play irrationally. Rather than basing our survival on chance, we must play to our advantages and become the puppeteer controlling the dolls at our fingertip. I would even go as far as to make up fake stories on the person someone hates just to stir up more drama and to make sure that they vote for the wrong person. After being blinded by rage, there's no way they would doubt a fake story, and I could easily pin the werewolf on other people. Yes, it's cruel, but this increases our chances of survival. This is a How to Beat series after all. The group starts their introductions as everyone is revealed to be 2nd and 3rd years from the same school. It's 8 PM, which means it's time to vote, but everyone is unsure of who to vote for. Yanagawa, the class president and captain of their soccer club, tells everyone that he has an announcement to make and tells the group to calm down, stating, "I want everyone to vote for me." Okay, this is f***ing stupid. Come on dude, we get it, you have a lot of pride. People respect you, but this is not the time to play leader. You've already had many clues that this game is not fake with the collars around your neck and with everyone waking up in this room unconscious. Betting on the fact that this game is fake and will not kill you is a really stupid play. Voting time begins as everyone points towards Yanagawa. It seems like nothing happens at first, until suddenly his collar activates, causing his entire neck to start burning. Yanagawa is burned to death as the group feels uneasy about what they just saw. Kasone tries to escape through the window, but Munakata stops him at the last second, stating, "There's no way that your collar won't activate." It seems the only option to escape is to play the game as we are all stranded in a desolate area. I also wouldn't f*** around with the collars as there are security cameras all over the place. One rebellious move could lead to my death. Everyone heads back to their rooms as it's now midnight and the wolves can meet up with each other. Looking through her own room, Airi comes across a safe and opening it finds a knife. This means that they will be doing the execution again. Making her way outside, she meets up with Inui and asks her if she knows who the third werewolf is, since only 2 of them survived. The 2 makes their way to the first floor as they meet Issei, and it turns out that he was the lone survivor in a previous werewolf game. Now all that's left is to choose the victim for the night. Okay, if I were in this situation, since we have no idea who has the power roles, I would kill the person that seemed the most experienced in the game, and that would be Munakata, since she stated that she's already played the werewolf game before online with friends. This means that she's an expert, so she probably won't be able to be manipulated and will play logically. I would also refrain from killing people who we can frame as werewolves, such as Tyra, since he seems hostile. Even though it's still the first round, we should also take into account who the bodyguard will protect tonight and try to evade them. The group decides to kill Kasone, which isn't that bad of an idea because the display of him almost jumping out of the window gives off the signal that he is not a wolf. Making their way to Kasone's room, the 3 gather up the strength to kill another person until suddenly a problem occurs. They try getting into the room only for the door to not budge. Feeling worried, the group makes their way to another door only for it to be locked again, and it seems that the first room they chose was being protected by the bodyguard, thus leading to every other door being locked since they can only choose one person. Fuck. This is code red for the wolves. It's the worst possible situation for them as the bodyguard had a 1 in 9 chance to choose the right person to protect. Issei throws a rage as they all head back to their rooms and discuss what they want to do for the next day. Waking up, everyone meets in the dining room and it's revealed that no one has died last night. Everyone in the room feels a sense of tension as people start accusing others of being the wolves without any valid claims. All of a sudden, Seki interrupts everyone and tells them to listen to what she has to say. Stating, "I understand the rules of the game now. I pulled the twin card." She reveals that she is a villager. Furthermore, she tells the group that she will decide on who they vote for every night from now on. If no one else claims to be a twin, then this guarantees that I am a villager. Okay, this is probably the best play I've seen so far in this game. Everything behind Seki's actions makes sense and helps the villagers move forward. First of all, there is more incentive to let Seki control the game since she knows who her twin is, meaning that she has a higher chance of voting out the wolf since there are 2 confirmed villagers in her mind. Secondly, it's impossible for the wolves to counterclaim Seki since it's too early in the game for this to happen and one mistake will cause their deaths. If Seki and her twin dies, it's obvious that the ones who counterclaim Seki are the wolves. Thus, she is a confirmed villager if there is no counterclaim. Thirdly, people may think that putting yourself in a position of power and revealing to be a villager will only lead to the wolves targeting you. However, that is not the case. From the wolf's perspective, the twins are just another villager and there are more efficient targets to kill, such as the bodyguard and the fortune teller. Thus, if you are a wolf, targeting Seki would be a pretty bad play, which is why she isn't afraid of dying. This is quite possibly the biggest ball play I have ever seen. Putting your life on the line to move the villagers forward is fucking insane and I love it. Seki pulled off a really good move here. Munakata states that even if this play is optimal, there's still a chance that the wolves might get mad and just target you anyways. Seki's response is just fuck it, so be it. This girl is fucking nasty with it. Seki tells everyone to vote for Todo as Todo goes into a rage, reminiscing about how Seki ruined his life by blackmailing him and taking away his money. Remember, everyone here has a grudge against someone else. After other people reveal Todo's shit past of stealing, Todo tries throwing a chair at Seki only for his collar to activate, restricting movement of his body as he falls to the floor. It seems like there can't be any physical violence and it's all mental warfare at this point. In this situation, it feels like there needs to be a miracle pulled out for the wolves, and it seems that the prayer was answered as Airi walks back to her room. Noticing a large group of people, she is pulled in along the group and this guy reveals that he and Hara are dating. But that's not all. He tells the group that Hara is the one who pulled the werewolf card. Okay, like I said earlier, 3 to 10 odds are pretty bad, but in this game, everyone has a grudge against a certain person. The wolves must play to this advantage and frame someone as a wolf, but it seems that Tara has just given the wolves what they want. He tells the group that he doesn't want to vote for Hara since she's his girlfriend, but they have to vote for her for the greater good of the group. LMFAO, this guy is such a good actor, but what a prick. It's now meeting time as everyone gathers around the table. Issei tries to suss out Airi, which is a good idea since it creates a perception that neither of them can be wolves. However, right before voting time, everyone is shocked to hear what Airi has just announced, stating, "You should tell everyone, Inui. You should tell everyone that you're the fortune teller." Inui is shocked by what Airi has just said. Okay, that's a big sucker punch to Inui right there. This play increases the chances of Airi surviving, but lowers the chance for Inui. Airi is quite literally throwing her fellow werewolf off the bus, and honestly, this is probably the best play if you want to increase your chances of survival. However, this is pretty cruel to your fellow mates. It also rubs salt in the wound that this situation doesn't affect Airi at all, since her claim was that she overheard this information rather than being told. Since Inui can't deny Ari's claims, or it would sink them both down the ship, she tells everyone that she is the fortune teller and that Ando was cleared as a villager for round 1. The voting begins as everyone points to who they want to die this round, and Hara is selected with a majority of votes. Realizing that Tara set her up, she tries strangling Tara only for her head to be exploded by the collar. That's a pretty cruel way to die. As the wolves meet that night, Inui is ready to kill Airi for trying to use her as bait and is also enraged because of what Tara did. She tells them that the reason why Tara wanted Hara dead is because Hara was pregnant. Holy shit, Tara was such a dick. Thus, the group decides to kill Tara that night in retribution for Hara. In my opinion, this was a pretty bad play from the wolves. Yes, this guy is a complete asshole, but there are better ways to kill him. You are killing someone that you can pin the werewolf on, since you can expose Tara by proving that Hara was not the wolf. There are much better targets to kill. The group wasn't thinking analytically, rather emotionally, since there is a lot of emotion riding in this game. Entering the room, it seems that it's unlocked as Inui stabs Tara to death. The morning arrives as everyone wakes up to find Tara's dead body on the floor. Munakata asks Inui who she saw last night, and remembering that she claimed to be the fortune teller, she states that she checked Enomoto and that she was a villager. Tensions are rising at the table as people are unsure of who to vote for, until suddenly Kasone states that Inui is lying. He states that he is the real fortune teller, and yesterday he saw that Issei was the wolf. Okay, this is exactly why I'd be furious if I were in Inui's position right now. Airi completely threw her under the bus by putting her in a situation where she's being counterclaimed. Not only that, to rub salt in the wound, Kasone found out the identity of Issei, meaning that if he was correct, then 2 werewolves would be revealed. Munakata starts rambling and states that she trusts Kasone more because it takes more courage to call out someone to be the wolf. This is because to call someone out as a wolf, it needs to be an accurate claim or else the other person would know that you are lying. This is the correct logic to follow, which is why in this situation, Kasone is more likely to be the real fortune teller. It is now voting time as Issei and Kasone continually fight each other to plead their case. The votes have now been locked. 6 votes for Issei and 4 for Konome. The collar starts tightening around Issei's neck as he suddenly pulls out a knife from his pocket. Falling to the floor, it seems that he's unable to move as Seki goes up to mock over his dying breath. But little does she realize that this would be her biggest mistake, as using the last ounce of energy left in his body, Issei slashes Seki's neck with his knife as the 2 bleed to death. Okay, this was a pretty dumb death by Seki, but now it turns into a pretty good situation for the wolves. Seki was the leader in the group and everyone would do as she said. With the leader now gone, the wolves can go back to plan A of manipulating emotion and causing fights. I'd also be really worried if I were Inui, but I don't think it's completely over, as you can easily frame Kasone to be the wolf through emotional means rather than being logical. The night dawns upon the group, and it's now time for the wolves to choose who to kill as the 2 pick Enomoto. The logic behind this is that since Inui told everyone that Enomoto was a villager, it'll help back up her case that she is the true fortune teller. As Airi and Inui enter the room, they find Enomoto sleeping there, and waking her up, Airi stabs her multiple times in the stomach before she is pronounced dead. Okay, Airi is getting a bit crazy here. The group wakes up the next day to find Enomoto dead, as Kasone is surprised as to why he is alive. After seeing Enomoto's dead body, Kasone, who loved Enomoto, doesn't feel like living anymore and decides to jump out of the window. This leads to his death, and I'm confused as to what is going on. But before the group has any time to process what is going on, as the group sits in the hallways, Todo tells everyone that he has something to reveal and states that he is the real fortune teller. The reason why he didn't say so earlier was because he didn't understand the rules of the game. Okay, This is pretty funny. The wolves are actually going to be 400 IQ'd by a guy who has no idea what he's doing. If anyone was thinking logically here, they would know for sure that Todo was telling the truth and that Inui was lying. This is because if Todo was the wolf, he would have either killed Inui or Kosone in the previous round. With either Inui or Kosone dying, then the other person would be suspected of a wolf, leading to 2 free deaths. However, since both of them survived, there is no way that Todo is the wolf, meaning that he is telling the truth. It also doesn't help Inui's case that right before Kosone died, he stated that he wanted to get revenge on Issei, since Issei was the one dating Enomoto and was the one who was physically abusing her day in and day out. Again, this game is heavily binded to emotional decision making, which means that Kosone was probably not the fortune teller, rather he was just acting out of revenge. This also means that Kosone's claim that Issei was a wolf was actually not backed up by anything, rather just rage, which is a pretty comical accident for the wolves. I also found it pretty funny that Inui and Airi got baited by Todo, who has no idea what he's doing. Feeling cornered, Inui admits to everyone that she is the werewolf, but proposes to everyone that they don't kill her since there are 2 werewolves remaining. Instead, the group can end up in a situation with 2 villagers and 2 wolves, leading to 4 survivors. From that point onward, the werewolves will never kill anyone, and during group votings, they will always vote 2 to 2, as the game will never end, so they will all live. For Inui, this play is probably the best play to make to get your ass out of this situation, but unfortunately, I don't think that this plan will work, as the moderators will probably get angry and enforce some extra rules. Going back to their rooms, Airi thinks of this situation differently. Instead of going along with the plan, she tries to expose Inui even more and tells everyone in private to vote for her. This is to set her up to be a villager, as a wolf would never try to kill her partner in this situation. This bitch is fucking psychotic and really fucking Inui over, but it's honestly a good play for her survival. Though it's cruel, it's probably the best play for Airi to make. It's now voting time, as everyone at the table votes for Inui. Feeling shocked and furious as to why they would do this, her collar activates and her face explodes. Yikes, what a gruesome death. That same night, with Airi being the remaining wolf, she kills Todo, the real fortune teller, as there are now 4 people remaining in this game. The next day, looking over the dead body, the group realizes that there is still 1 werewolf among them, as Airi tells the group that it was pretty suspicious that Inui tried to clear Ando as a villager in round 1. Though this isn't that big of a claim and certainly doesn't mean that much, Ando's berserk reaction caused the group to be suspicious of him. In this situation, yelling and going crazy is never the play, it just makes you look suspicious. With this leverage, the group all votes for Ando, as his punishment is that his neck is twisted throughout his body. Yikes. This is a prime example of using logic rather than emotion. If Ando just refuted calmly, stating that this claim meant nothing, he would probably be able to live. It's the final night, and Airi is sure that the game will finally be over as she heads towards Munakata's room to finish the kill. However, to her surprise, the door doesn't budge, meaning that the bodyguard is still alive. Holy f***, it's a 180-degree turnaround. Airi did not account for the bodyguard in this situation. The next morning, Airi tries to frame Tsushima and tells Munakata that she is the bodyguard and that she protected her last night and on the first day. At the voting table, Munakata is really confused by Ari's statement, since if she was the actual bodyguard, why is it that she didn't speak to her throughout this entire game? Thus, using this logic, Airi has to be lying, meaning that she is the wolf. Munakata is pretty smart here and she played this game really well. But nonetheless, as the timer hits 0, both of them vote for Tsushima, as it's revealed that Airi was the one who saved Munakata's life a while back, so she felt like she had the obligation to owe her one. Tsushima's neck is severed by the collar and Munakata's head is filled with spikes. The speaker announces that the werewolves have won $10 million as Ari's choker starts tightening and she falls unconscious. Waking up, she finds herself outside of the mansion with a key supposedly taking her to where the $10 million is hiding. However, after all these death games, Airi doesn't feel happy at all winning the $10 million. She feels much more happier being close to death. She has become psychotic. Throwing away the keys, she states that she doesn't want the money and instead she wants to join the organization. Turning her back, she hears a creak as the doors open up. The third game will now begin. That concludes it for Werewolf Game B-Side. Who was your favorite character in the series? Personally, mine was Inui, even though she was constantly fucked over by Airi. If you guys love the How to Beat series, make sure to subscribe to not miss out on any upcoming videos. Also, make sure to tell your friends about this channel as it's the best way to help me grow. Thanks for all the support so far. I really appreciate every single one of you and reading over all your comments. This has been Hyacinth. Peace.